My name is Mike Ritchie. I'm the Southeast Regional Manager for Increte and do training. Been with Increte for quite a few years. Started actually in '86. Rich had mentioned earlier that we had, in our early days, we actually real nice. They're sealed. They're watertight. We had a distributor up in Cincinnati that had a flood, and this building, this warehouse, was underwater for about a month. And when the water finally subsided, he was able to open his buckets up and get back in his warehouse. They were all perfectly dry, perfectly fine. When you first get it, you want to kind of fluff it up a little bit. It's heavy. It's Portland cement and pink and sand. It'll pack down a little bit. So fluff it up a little bit, aerate it a little bit, roll it like Anthony just did. Now something else is important. This will get in the air. It'll go everywhere, especially if it's windy. So protect your surroundings. Okay? If you're in an enclosed environment, wear a respirator, or a little mask or something. It's got sand and silicate, which is not great to breathe. If you're up next to a building or a house, being that it's full of cement, if you're throwing it in it, lands on a wet surface, maybe a window sill or something like that, what's it going to do? It's going to set up. It's concrete, right? You're going to have a hard time getting it off. So protect your surroundings. That's part of the problem. Tape up some plaster or visqueen. Another trick of the trade is to soak down surroundings. We can look at liquid soap or something. Soak down areas with soap, and that will actually protect the barrier. Keep your colors and stuff like that. We're going to, ideally what you'll have, again, you know that the bucket of color harders, 60 pounds, will do about 100 square foot. So what we do is on a 10-foot wide driveway, we'll have a bucket every 10 feet. And that way we kind of know how much we're applying. We want to try to achieve, somewhat a uniform color. But we also want to apply 60 pounds per 100 square foot. That gives us this durability. Okay? And also, if you have one every 10 feet, you're not standing in one spot throwing color for the entire job. If you did that, you would have buildup right here. Okay? And it would be, so work your way around the slab. Work at your different buckets, different times. Like Colin, we're going to broadcast about you're going to have a total uniform. It's kind of harder to have a little bit of a modeling, but it's okay because you're still, like I said, you're using a powder and you're antiquing your secondary color. Well, yes, you sure do. It's like everything. You try to stay with the same batch number. If you find that you've got 3 of one batch and 8 of the other batch, use your lower batch first in the first pass and then use the other, okay? Always do that, Always use stains and stuff like that as well, because it will be made different times and different solution rates. And, over time, particular sources, they change, So, we try to also our colors the best possible. A year down the road, you still got a couple of buckets. They may just say, yes, sir. I don't know if I missed it. Control the color. You have a set color. Your color grade. Okay. Secondly, is that if there's a lot of water on top, if it's real wet, a little bit of moisture helps you trial and helps absorb the formalin and the color. It will eat up some of the color. So, you don't want to have puddles of water on top when you first start filling your color. If you do, you're going to be using a lot more color. Keep that in mind. On a sunny day like this. Good question. We have a product called Increte Delay. It's not only for hot, sunny days, it's also for windy days. Certain climates on beaches and stuff like that, you're going to have blowing wind that's going to dehydrate the surface. Our Increte Delay will slow the dehydration of the surface down without affecting the evaporates. We'll spray it on the first group of concrete and maybe after the first half the color, but that's it. Because don't go on it. That way it is for you. What do you think is delay concentrating? The retarders, again, we're not going to get into all that stuff because we have retarders. Okay? Back in when I used to run crews, we'd force them up to 2 or 3 trucks a day in the summer months, and you had to kind of prolong your set time. You could pour 5 yards of concrete on the ground and then retard the second half of the truck. And then you have stage. There's all kinds of tricks. But if you're getting into the business and you're doing stamp concrete, you want to have a guy that has experience in concrete. truckloads a day, unless you really push, you know. Yeah, the whole thing, you know, most of my guys are really quality guys, go for maybe 12 to 14 square foot a day. That's max. That's max. They do that simply because they want to maintain it. You want to be able to send Mr. Jones back to his job and show him a great job.
Well, that go anywhere.
Obviously, sometimes you're pushing for local parties that want to get it done, but you know, you can't push it with that.
That's right.
Any questions?
That's what I want.
Color harder, yes. Yes, it's Portland cement pigment. We got the first pass down, and it's got it plowed, and we've got now we're doing the edging and stuff like that, putting it up here. You know, the outside edges in your picture frame, very important. Live edges, the outside edges. On any job, first thing you see are the outside edges. So make sure they're perfect. Edge them real well. While he's doing that, you know, I talked about a secondary color. That secondary color is called release. It does exactly what the name is. It releases the tools and keeps them from sticking in your base color. So Adobe buff, or sun buff, I'm going to go something darker than sun buff. That's what you see.
When you do that, the color will come off the concrete.
Yeah, well, you can scrape the color off, but it doesn't hurt a thing. Just recolor it, refile it. You know, hey, when I first learned, and I still learn, when I trial, I still scrape the color off.
Yeah,
It happens.
It's right there.
No big deal. We don't file after the release.
I've done jobs with
I mean, should be dry and dry spaces. And we're blessing is always good, okay? Stay low. Stay real low. See how fluffy it is? And how it goes everywhere?
how much time does the retardant buy us?
It slows in the hydration. It depends on the weather conditions. The ambient temperature is probably 20 minutes maybe. Again, it depends on wind conditions, sun conditions, you know, ambient temperature, a lot of things. But don't rely on it. It's going to help you in getting the finish.
I think it's in Puerto Rico, and the weather's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Concrete, you know, sets real quick.
That's right. In July and August, yeah, you don't pour so much, you know. You know, and
What about if it rains or something?
if it rains, you're in trouble.
So if you don't want to address weather,
You got rain
or
coming
doing something like that.
That's safe. I always call it concrete. And if all of a sudden you just come out the tree and stop, make sure you got plastic. This piece.
Yeah, I tell you, Puerto Rico happens a lot.
Keep it covered up on right in Florida. I need Florida. You know, the weatherman said it ain't gonna rain, and hell, it'll rain all day long. That's just the way it is. But you know, keep plastic. This is what you talk about. You know, to leave it, as long as you're not in an area where there's a little increase, how much you pour. You know, I know a lot of guys that will think about putting too in, but they kill themselves. And you know, it's crazy, but they actually do it. What we're doing now is replacing concrete, you know, in between forms. Sometimes it's a little lower than the form, right? So we want to make sure texture is all the way through the outside edges. So we'll take our textured skin and we will stamp and pat it with that, and we'll just create texture with those outside edges. So that way, when we start using our tool, if they overlap, we still got texture. If that form board holds the tool up a little bit, okay, we still got some texture. We'll drop one out here in the middle. These small little pads like this are usually harder to do than a big pipe. I think it's a little longer. But when you lay your tool, very important, lay your tool straight down. When you pick your tool up,
this is straight up. Do not drag a corner. Okay? It's very, very important. How much does that weigh? What's that? How much does that weigh? I don't know. How much did you say one of those weigh, Anthony?
Hold on, man. Give me that.
The hammock probably pound. Maybe 15 pounds.
120 seconds, quarter pound a second. What's that?
Yeah.
I don't know how much material it is out of the machine. That's about 40 pounds.
About 40 pounds.
Yeah.
So a regular tool like that is going to weigh about 20. Again, there's some that are in industry that are real thin, like this one here. That's what we call a liner. But all of our sets come with a liner like that because you want to be able to have one that's very flexible. If you get up next to a wall, you don't have what you can bend and roll it up next to the wall, okay? And or, in tight areas, you get a column or something like that. So they all of us have come with a couple of those. And also doing outside edges. It's used as a handle. So basically what that is, it's a half of the big tool, but it's also half the thickness of the big tool, which makes it a lot easier to work with, you know. And that way you're going to hold a big old tool and not do a little 2-inch high, you know. It's a lot easier. I'm wondering how you work against the wall. Well, if you work against the wall, let me see that liner. All of our tools, again, have a textured skin, okay, which mimics the texture that's on this tool. That's the same texture, okay? All of our tools also come with your choice of a roller or an S-tool. This is the neutral off your line. So up into a wall, you're going to take this tool and you're going to roll it as far as you can and put your foot and stamp it and put it all the way up to the wall. Sorry?
It actually from a 90-degree angle against the wall.
Yeah, as close as you can possibly get it. And then you take your skin and use your skin for texture. When you can't get that tool, obviously you can't make a square there, you know. And then you take your S tool and finish off the wall. Okay? It really is simple. But fine, it'll slow you up a bit. You've got a lot of angles that you're working with. Remember, you adjust your load. Just take some of the angles.
Oh, that's right.
Big areas you can run with. This set of tools, you know, 15 strips. You can make a lot of tracks with it. Most guys love these big tools. You know, like our big textured skins, 5x5. I've got a big job going on right now. 30 or 40 pounds. $5 a square foot profit. It's good money. Every 2 seconds is about laying that tool down. You're making some money. Your first few rows, as you're, again, like I said, the rigid platform, you're on the top of it a lot quicker than a real thin tool, right? It's like a kneeboard, so to speak. So, as you get on there, of course, obviously, your first few rows are going to be a little soft. So you put your lighter guy, your light guy, and you'll basically lightly, gingerly walk those tools in it. But as you get down toward the end of that driveway, your concrete is going to be set up, right? So you may have to take that tamper, that pipe handle, mallet, which comes preset, and use your tamper to make that even consistency in your stamp, okay? That's what that tamper's for, right? Again, concrete sets up all at the same time. When you pour 10 yards down, it's all going to start setting at the same time, so it gets you, so you want to get on there and get off a lot quicker. Hey, we got a little spot. When you're walking on the area a whole bunch, just one little spot, you may bring some water up. What happens is, it can cause a little sticky effect. Even though there's leaves, it'll cause a sticky effect. We're going to re-release it, lay our tool back down again, and that'll get rid of any little stalagmite that had occurred because it's stuck. Okay? And that'll eliminate that problem. Both sides. On a small job like this, you're constantly working in one area. You're walking around one little spot. You sit on the ground and go like this in a wet area, you'll bring water up. Same principle here. You'll bring water up.
So you need to check that out before taking this down.
Yeah, always kind of peek at the tool. what's going to happen is you guys will start to stamping and you'll start doing work. You'll have guys, running the tools. And one guy's going to step forward and goes, I want to be the one that runs the tools. And he will be that man, that Anthony guy on the tools, that'll run the tools. And he has a feel for every time he lays that tool down. You kind of get it. You can feel it going in, And then you kind of know if it's still kind of soft. You know how much pressure. Walk easy. Usually when it's real soft, you can have maybe a sticky spot. So you peek at it, you roll it up, look at it, let it release it. Okay? Just if you notice that you picked it up, just try to reset it in the same spot. Make sure it's the same tool. Okay? Again, you're going to have one guy, and that guy is going to be your stamp guy. Okay? Something that's important is you have 3 or 4 different guys out there. One guy that weighs 350 pounds, the other guy weighs 90 pounds. What's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of inconsistencies, aren't you? So it's very important to, designate one guy. Okay? You cannot have enough tools. You can get away with it, but it's not going to have more. Keep in mind that you don't do an engine overhaul with a pressing ring. The more tools, the better tools you got, the easier your job is. It's just the way it is. You got to start somewhere, though, guys. I don't know anything about that. You need to talk to. This is the guy you need to talk to. Help him with this question. I don't know meters and stuff. I'm sorry. A good stamp guy also, as he stamps, he'll have an estimate stamp high. So as he's walking and doing the stamp, he'll address this little condition. It's inevitable that you'll have a little bit of space between the two. And you simply just address it. And if you don't have time to address it while you're stamping, most guys will have plenty of time to guys doing the tools. He's out there running the tools and flipping the tools, and he'll turn around and do the little estimate as you move the tools. Okay? So if you don't have time, it's a real world. We're going to show you on the next demonstration how we can touch up the line. Don't worry about it. Different ways. Some guys would prefer to drive. I'm going to show you that next week.
How much does the, for this set?
How much does the rep? I'm not real sure. That's your rep. We'll give you a coupon for this set. We'll discount it. With a used set already. Again, I mentioned the tools are guaranteed for life. Okay? 10 years from now, you're going to tear a handle out of one or something like that. But if you screw it up on a truck or something, you got to go back, especially your outside edges, And all you simply do, like I said, is tap the back side of it with a little hammer. And you can finish off your lines. Again, when
And that's going to help us work in this color. Do you want to spray this on the slab up until you put on the anything after you put on the release? You never want to file it.
you want to kind of lean backwards. Lean forward, lean backwards. It's really dry on this outside. What's happening is the forms are sucking the water in,
But, depending on how much moisture we bring back up, we're going to go on another pass.
This is, the form is sucking real a 10-to-1 solution of uric acid and water. Very, very, very weak surface of Increte. And what that's going to do is going to remove that excess residue off the surface of that concrete and open up the surface a little bit to allow our sealer. Then we're going to go back and we're going to seal it. Okay. But as we get back to that third or fourth day in normal weather conditions in the summer, like we'll go over here, we're going to acid wash it. Now, when you're using powder releases, it's very important you get it to penetrate. If you do this, you'll have a 10 times better job, longer lasting job. Also, the sealers will penetrate and last 10 times longer. Okay. This is a hydrophobic product that you're washing off. This won't wash off with water. Okay. It has to have some type of acidic product to take it off properly. Okay. 10-to-1 takes off just the right amount, but leaves that 10% on for your antique. Okay. Simply grooming it, and that's going. You know, that was done last month. It's amazing how much this thing rained on 100 times.
So that's a month old.
That's over a month old. It's 2 months old.
And never been after water.
Never going to have to wash. It's been rained on probably 100 times. You know. You see how much residue is coming off that? If you were to seal that without doing that, your sealers would flake right off. It would act as a bond breaker. People have sealer failures, they call me and I say, well, your acid break. No, nobody told me I needed to do that. Well, that's a big mistake. Now at this point here, you know, we did 10-to-1 simply because we only want to take off a specific amount of relief. We want to leave a lot in the antique. At this point, you can ask Mr. Jones, do you want it a little lighter? Because you can make it a little lighter if you want to. But you definitely want to make sure it's even. So if you get a dark spot, you want to hit those again. Okay? You want to make it nice and even. Okay? Very, very important. But it's a hell of a lot easier to take a little more off than to mix it 5-to-1 and take the bunch off. Okay? So make sure you mix it properly. Using a pump-up bug sprayer. You put it in the bucket and knock it over, you're screwed. You're in trouble. Okay?
What kind of acid is that?
Uriatic acid.
Uric?
You buy it at Home Depot or Lowe's.
Okay,
or
any regular. 22, 33.
Uriatic acid. That's what it's called.
What's that?
Concentration?
The ratio?
Yeah.
If you buy it in the hardware store or
10 to 1.
10-to-1. But of what? 22 or 33 uric
Just your
acid?
standard full acid. I don't know what
20%, I think.
It's 30.
So it's usually come on 22 and 33%.
I'm doing a little 10-to-1 solution of uric acid and water. Everybody hear that? 10-to-1. We get it again, pay any attention to the dark spots, okay? And that's taking a lot more off. But we can continue to lighten up if we want to, okay? If you want to leave that exact amount, just a 10% gives you a nice antique in effect. Keep in mind, you know, you get a good idea of what it's going to look like right now. But sealers enhance color, okay? Sealers will enhance the release color as well. Improve the release. You'll end up maybe, you know, if the guys aren't experienced, they may take too much off. They may leave marks. You know, acid washing is really, neutralize the way to utilize it. You don't need to. You know, acid is really the same pH constant. You know, that's a fallacy. Don't let me use it. that release color, that pigment that was actually embedded or impregnated into the concrete. After we blow it off, we're simply going to take a little chip brush and we're going to cut the bristles off where they're about ½ inch. It's kind of stiff, okay? We're going to dab it in the release that we use when we stamp it, okay? And we're going to simply burnish it in into the areas that we just ground. And all we're doing is burnishing the pigment into those low-lying areas, stuff on the surface, so it's not going to walk off. And that's going to reshade what we took out when we ground it. Okay? Real simple.
Now, I heard somebody else saying you could also reburnish all of the joints.
You can.
To make them more defined.
Keep in mind, though, and it's very, very important, if you find yourself doing a lot of touch-ups with your release, make sure you're rolling out of a fresh bucket that you're replenishing, not out of the bucket, not out of the brand new bucket. So continue replenishing in a separate bucket, because as you dip that roller back into that bucket, it will contaminate the sealer. So maybe a ½ gallon at a time in that fresh bucket. Okay? That way you get around the pool deck and all of a sudden your sealer's gray, and all of a sudden
So you can do that just immediately.
you can take some color hardener and you can sift it through like a stocking, okay? And you can take that paste, or make a paste out of that pigment and that portland, and you can go in and patch spots with just a little margin swab. You've almost got to become an artist when you're doing something like that, because you're then at that point, it's enriched pigment. Then of course after it dries, you can do a little bit of shading with your release color that you utilize when you stamp. At that point, then you can do quite a lot of other things. You can take it to a stone essence stage. Quite a few different things, add more dimensions in color as opposed to just two. Be creative, And use your imagination. This is what we're ready to seal it. This is a totally crystal clear non-amber thermoplastic designed specifically for architecturally colored stamped concrete. Okay? Again, it's a solvent-based sealer, so it does not like moisture. So you've got to make sure your surface is good and dry. Minimum of 3 to 4 days in normal weather conditions is recommended. Secondly, is you don't want to seal in the hot part of the day. Okay, because that surface can be really, really hot. It can cause the sealers to bubble. Okay? Also want to use like a 3/8 inch nap roller cover. You don't want to puddle it. If you puddle it in ground lines, you can cause some bubbling. It'll dry over the top. The solvents underneath are still trying to escape, which is going to cause bubbling. Okay? You find that, just re-roll it, roll back into it. But we talked about what sealers do. They enhance color. See the difference? It gives it that wet look. It makes it pop. It makes that release a lot darker.
No, is this particular product being super fine?
This one isn't, but we have.
Yeah, we've got them in your
so
VOC
like our
states,
area,
yes.
we wouldn't be able to
Not a
use
problem.
this particular product.
Yeah.
We'd be
It's
using
just a blend of solvents, yeah.
Okay.
That's not a problem. You get the same effect.
Okay.
Same effect. This is like this is again a totally crystal clear, non-ambering, does not turn yellow. It's a thermoplastic and it's designed. It leaves a little plastic film on the surface.
How many coats do you recommend?
Well, single coat is really you can get away with. If you want a high gloss and it's not a wet condition, 2 coats. Pool decks and stuff like that where there's wet conditions, never put 2 coats on. If you're doing 2 coats, usually sure grip additive. Okay, we've got a non-skin